Welcome to the Group Dentistry Now Show, the voice of the DSO industry. Kim Larson and Bill Newman talk to industry leaders about their challenges, successes, and the future of group dentistry. Visit groupdentistrynow.com for more DSO analysis, news, and events. Looking for a job or have a job to fill? Visit joindso.com. We hope you enjoy today's show.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Group Dentistry Now Show. I'm Bill Newman, and we appreciate everybody listening in today, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or you're watching us on YouTube, or somehow you just find us on groupdentistrynow.com. Without an audience, we wouldn't have a show. And of course, without great guests, we wouldn't have an audience. So I want to introduce our two guests that we have today. One we are bringing back for a second time, I think at least a second time. And then we have Dr. Kaur with us today. So we're really thankful to have her on to talk about women in DSO. So we have Dr. Aman Kaur, and she is the founder and CEO of Women in DSO. And she is also the CEO of AIM Dental Alliance. And then we have Brian Colao, who you may know if you've been in the dental industry or the DSO space for the past 25 years, you may have seen his face. He is the director of Dykema's Dental Service Organizations Group. So welcome both of you to the Group Dentistry Now Show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, so I'll try and do some justice on these bios here, and then I'd appreciate both of you kind of filling in any blanks since you've both been in the DSO space for quite a while. We'll start off with Dr. Kaur. Dr. Aman Kaur is, again, the founder and the president of Women in DSO. And I just realized this when I was reading the bio. WIN DSO is short for Women in DSO. It took me a little time to get that, but so if you see WIN DSO,
you can do it.
I can do it. I'll figure it out. Only seen it 100 times. She is a trained dentist with extensive financial and business experience. Dr. Kaur has been very involved in the growth of the DSO industry. I met Dr. Kaur years ago at the Mortensen event when Mortensen used to do their event in Louisville, Kentucky. She works with VC and private equity groups as an operating member and consultant for their DSO portfolios. So I'll stop there. I'll let you fill in any blanks. I did mention that you're the CEO of AIM Dental Alliance, so you may want to touch on that as well.
Bill, like a lot of people, talking about myself is not my favorite topic, but I appreciate such generous introduction. So just kind of high level, I've been in this space now over 15, 17 years. So dental service organizations is where I've grown. Been very fortunate to work with for-profit sector, large groups, starting from Aspen to not-for-profits and state government plans. But I'm really excited about this time we're going through. Yes, DSOs are growing, and I'm really excited. What excites me about this is how we are improving access to care. It's been always very near and dear to my heart because as dentists, sometimes we have this mentality of scarcity. We wonder that we need more patients from the guy next door, but there are just so many patients we can just provide care to. So I feel like dental service organizations are constantly improving that access to care, education, and awareness about oral health. And it's a very exciting time. With that involvement, there has been more financial sector is paying attention to us. And sometimes you need that attention to take it to next level because it's not an easy world we are living in, especially from last 2 years. So many unpredictable challenges we are navigating through. So it's exciting time for dentistry, and really excited to be kind of doing what we have been doing, and how things are growing all around us. So
it certainly is an exciting time, Dr. Kaur, in the industry. And Brian talks quite a bit about this, so I'll introduce Brian. Brian Colao, again, director of Dykema's Dental Service Organizations Group. He's been in the dental industry for over 25 years, widely regarded as one of the foremost authorities in the United States on DSO formation, DSO business structures, DSO-related M&A and the full array of regulatory compliance requirements for dental groups and DSOs. And by the way, Brian, who is a contributor to Group Dentistry Now, was one of our 2019 DSO influencers. So he was nominated by our editorial board. So well known to our readers. Brian, I'd love to, if you need to fill in any blanks there, please do. But also, I'd love to kind of find out what your involvement is with women in DSO.
Well, I mean, two things. I mean, I think all you really need to say is I was a Group Dentistry Now influencer, and we probably don't have to say anything else. That by itself speaks for itself with the audience, and that's probably it, right? So I have nothing to add past that. It was my honor to be awarded by Group Dentistry Now, and I think that speaks volumes. I have nothing to add to my bio. That's probably the only thing we should say from now on. But I'm on the board of Women in DSO. It was one of the professional highlights of my career. Dr. Aman asked me to be on the board along with Kathleen Titus, who I think has been on your show before, and everybody knows Kathleen. It's really been tremendous, Bill. I mean, the only thing I can say, I've learned a lot. I mean, I can obviously talk about DSOs all day long, go to conferences, and probably at this point, that's a low level of difficulty for me because I've been doing it for 25, 26 years. But, sometimes you have to do something a little different, maybe even a little outside of, your comfort level. When they asked me to be on the board, I said, okay, so I'll write the check and that's it. And they said, no, they said, we may ask you for a check, but we want you to be on the board and we want you to get behind this. And I have just learned so much stuff. I mean, for example, women are the majority of the dental industry. And when you look at, DSO rank and file employees, they make up the majority of the DSO industry, and they're underrepresented in leadership. I mean, it's just so stark how underrepresented they are, and they don't get the same opportunities. And the vision of Women in DSO is to provide access, opportunities, and mentorship to the majority, I should say the many talented women, but really the majority of the DSO industry. And it's just been tremendous, working with the powerhouse board we have. I mean, just a powerhouse board of directors has got behind this. We've built incredible momentum, Bill. We've probably, signed up already. Dr. Aman knows this better than me, but from where I sit on the board, I mean, dozens and dozens of folks from all across the DSO industry, from big organizations to individuals, have signed up. They've not just written checks, they volunteered their time. We've got this inaugural event coming up in March. I can't be more excited about it. I mean, it's I guess that's a long-winded answer, but I'm on the board, and it's just one of the professional highlights of my career being involved in this.
Thanks, Brian. So, Dr. Kaur, let's talk a little bit about why did you decide to, why are you the founder, right? So, I mean, Brian kind of talked a little bit about it, right? You've got, and I don't know what the percentage is, but if you do look at women in the dental industry, assistants, office managers, hygienists, dentists, it's got to be I don't know what the percentage is.
It's over 50%. I mean, Dr. Aman can speak to it better than me.
Overall, just in dental offices, on average, it's around 80% of the population in office levels is typically women. Because if you go in a dental office, you'll see maybe one male dentist, maybe an office manager, but all 5 to 6 other people are women.
Right. And now it's what, close to or above 50% women graduating dental school. So even the male dentist is changing as well.
I think from last time I checked, it was around 65% of dentists graduating dental schools were women.
65. Wow. Okay. All right. So it's definitely flipped.
Scale,
yeah, for sure. So talk a little bit about the why. I know that this initially Women in DSO was announced at the Dykema event last year, but my guess is there was a lot of planning before that. So when did you decide that this was something you wanted to get involved in? And then, so let's talk about the organization. So why, and then what's going on right now with the organization?
Absolutely. So Women in DSO, yes, our inaugural event is in March, but originally the idea of Women in DSO came, it was many years ago, around 2018. I was actually attending a DSO conference, ADSO to be specific. We had amazing panel on the stage, a lot of CEOs of great organizations and raving about different operationals and business functional departments they had in their organizations. And a lot of them talked about women leading those departments. And one of the women in audience asked, how come we don't see one on the stage? And it was just kind of a real good question. And I remember one of the panelists trying to answer that question, and he did an amazing job. He was very gracious and kind. But the reality of the situation is there is just no answer if we just don't have that many women on stage. So a few years from that, I've always been involved in this industry, been many times. I wouldn't say women have not been on stage. I have been on a lot of these DSO conferences stages, but it just always felt like an afterthought or maybe just sprinkling in some women. But predominantly, we always felt men representing the industry that women are constantly building and working for. So with that thought, it's been brewing on the back of my mind, because I could keep asking the same question or we could do something about it. So in 2019, I started thinking a little bit harder. In 2020, I remember meeting with Kathleen and a few other women, and I think we met at AADGP conference, and that's when we started talking about it. But COVID came, so we took 2020 to kind of do some work. Why do we want it? What should be the mission? Because you can do 20 things, or you could do just 2 things really well. So we really honed on what is it that we want to achieve, and what are our core values, how we want to behave. So we took 2020 to really work on who are we, what we want to do, and getting our board assembled. And in 2021, the first live big conference was Dykema, and Dykema team, specifically Brian, has been throughout my career. I've seen Brian supporting women, and him supporting women in DSO the way he did by letting us launch during Dykema conference really helped us. It really helped us surface that what we are trying to achieve. And so that's been the inaugural kind of our launch event. And since then, we took those 6 months to understand our members, because we can think we want this, but I really wanted to learn from what is it those individual women leaders in different organizations want. What do organizations want to do to lift women leaders? And we have taken a lot of those information and surveys in the last 6 months. So membership started from this year onwards. It was an annual membership starting from 2022. And we have great support, like Brian mentioned earlier. A lot of very progressive organizations are our members. And so we just started working now on those deliverables.
Okay, so I noticed because I follow women in DSO on LinkedIn. So there seems to be like quite a few things going on already. So you've got like, it looks like webinars or, meetings that are going on. So talk a little bit about that, because there are things going on now. So it's not just about the event that we're going to talk about in a second, but there's a lot more to it.
So what at Women in DSO, our if I were to say, what is our mission? It's a real platform to promote and advance women to leadership positions and beyond. And when I say that very specifically, we want to see more women in C-level executive positions, and then on the boards, running, maybe partnering with private equities and going into entrepreneurship. That's really what we are hoping women to go, like not, again, working, representing the company they will be building. So that's our goal. With that goal, so how do we get there? I think as women, we have this inner critic. We have learned that. So for that, we need mentorship, someone who can lift us. So what we are doing is we have one track is exchange circles, where we meet monthly to talk about different business function areas. We have talked about medical record keeping system. We have talked about procurement. So it's business function areas. And then second track is empower networking. And that's where we have women leaders talking about how to network better, how to be good leaders. So that's another track we have going on. And then, I'm sorry, it seems like someone is at my door. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure, we can pause it. Hold on.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We're good. It's like it never happened.
Bill, we're talking about what we are doing right now. So we had exchange circles that meet monthly to talk about different business areas. So we have done about electronic record keeping system, procurement, and there are a few other things coming on the horizon, how to expand different specialties in dentistry. And then is Empower Networking, that's solely focused on networking among women, leadership qualities, profile analysis for managing your teams better, and then how to collaborate across the gender aisle, managing up a lot of those things. And then we are also working on an internship program that we will be launching after our inaugural event. And we are going to work in conjunction with our industry partners and DSO partners. And then finally, we are launching a job board. It's going to be a little bit different, more like a hybrid of a LinkedIn and Facebook, where we will be able to showcase companies that are promoting women and a lot of women leaders who are doing different things. So it can be more of a matching people, and we will have only director level and above positions available.
Okay,
so
that's great.
Things on the horizon.
Yeah, so exchange circles, so that's monthly. You're working on an intern program, and then you have a career board, but it's more than that, where it's matching companies with talent, and so that's great. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot going on. Let's talk a little bit about the big event. So this is the inaugural event. This will be in Las Vegas at the Aria, great place, March 9th through the 11th. Is that right?
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. So tell us about that. If you can talk a little bit about the agenda, networking opportunities, speakers, anything, and then of course, how do people get involved if they haven't signed up yet?
Yes, we are actually really excited about it. This is our inaugural event, and we launched this event in the midst of COVID. We're really nervous how this is going to turn out. And I am so excited to say we are still 2 months, month and a half out. And we are almost 300 plus registrants. So we are really, really excited. And the way we are going, I think we might have it sold out event. So last night we checked, there were only, I think, 25 rooms left in our room block. So a little bit of that anxiety is gone. So we're excited about that. We are starting this event on Wednesday with our advisory board meeting. So we have an advisory board of 25 members. So we are kicking it off with that on Wednesday. And after that, we'll have Wednesday reception. And Thursday, it's going to be an exciting event. And we are talking, I think a lot of this is going to be throughout how to network and network better. And we are going, there are amazing speakers. I don't know how much I want to share because it changes every day, like, when you do an event, but we have a lot of private equity group women joining us and a lot of women CEOs, Glidewell CEO, a lot of women led DSOs will be there. So Holly Williams from Rodeo Dental. I mean, there's just a lot of names. Maybe Brian, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I do want to say thank you. No, because I do want to say something about this. I really do. This is going to be a great event. I mean, I think Dr. Aman is too kind, when she says I was a little nervous. I'm not nervous at all. This thing's going to get sold out. There's not any question about it. I mean, I'm just looking, Bill, I know a little something. We're not going to talk about the Dykema conference, I don't think today, but I know a little something about putting on a big event and having thousands of people there and stuff. The trajectory of this thing is incredible. Okay, it's going to be sold out. The momentum behind this is incredible. And what I would tell people, two things that I really want from a guy, being the only guy on the board that I want people to know is, one, this is not a women's only event. Okay. okay? Yeah, it is absolutely open to men. I sometimes, they seem a little more comfortable, Bill, emailing me, hey, Brian, are guys allowed to come to this thing? I get these emails and I'm like, of course, I'm on the board. I wouldn't be on the board if it was just women all the time. Of course, it's open to men. So that's the first thing. Anybody, listening to this, it is open to men and women. And I encourage the men to come. And I'll tell you why. I don't have to encourage the women, boy. The enthusiasm behind this is off the charts. But the reason I want to encourage the men to come to this is there's going to be some really unique stuff. And I know, you hear that sometimes, Bill, on your show, or, this is going to be the best event ever and it's unique, and it ends up being the same stuff. This is really unique for the simple fact that there have never been this many talented women on stage at the same time. Okay. And we all know, and we'll talk about this, I hope, a little better before we get off this show. I hope we'll talk about why organizations are better with women as part of the leadership team. I hope we'll spend a few minutes talking about that. But let me just say right now, the statistics bear this out. There is no question. It's been conclusively proven, and I can anecdotally speak to my team. We are better having women members of the team and women in leadership, and organizations do better when they have that. Why? Because you get to benefit from more diversity of opinions and perspectives and everything else. So I can't wait personally to attend an event that's got this many talented women on stage and perspectives that really haven't been heard in this type of audience before. I mean, you always go to some of these things and we try our best. And I think anybody listening can put Dykema to the test this year at our event. You're going to see tons and tons of women on stage, doing things. But most of the events, I mean, let's be honest, they're underrepresented historically. And you get one perspective. You get a lot of men, talking about stuff. And we've got very talented men in the DSO industry. Some of them have been my mentors. They certainly say really intelligent, thoughtful, insightful stuff, but you don't get the complete picture. I would think anybody that's a leader, anybody running an organization, anybody that's up and coming wants the complete picture. They want to be as well-rounded as they possibly can. And the only way we can be well-rounded, Bill, is to get a complete perspective. And this event gives us the opportunity to hear from more talented women than, to my knowledge, have ever been on stage at any event in the DSO industry before. I can't wait, not just because I'm on the board. Okay, I'm biased, I'm on the board, but I can't wait because we're actually going to get some really unique content. That I know you'll be there, Bill. We're going to get some really unique content that we haven't seen anywhere else before. And anytime I get an opportunity to get unique content that we haven't heard before, I'm on the first plane over there. So this is going to be an incredible event. It's going to sell out, and I'm just really excited about it.
And yes, I'm going to be there for sure. I was looking at the website actually yesterday and kind of planning out my travel for the end of Q1, and it's a great opportunity to get together. I think what we're going to see with this event is maybe you're going to see a lot of new faces, right? But then you may have
a lot of new faces on stage. This is the thing.
Right.
These are not new. I don't mean to interrupt and be obnoxious,
that's a great
but
point.
I got to make the point here. These are not new faces. The majority of the industry is talented women. These are folks that you've seen in many cases for years, but they've been relegated to sitting in the audience instead of in prime time on the big stage. This event is going to put them prime time on big stage where, look, I'm not judging anybody. We don't criticize, but you could argue they probably should have been there from the beginning, but for whatever reason weren't. And now we're going to showcase and we're going to put them on stage, but it's just new faces on the stage. It's not new faces. These folks have been talented and part of this industry for years and years and years. And I just got to make that correction there, Bill, if I can.
No, that's a great point, Brian. Dr. Aman, you talked a little bit about it. So Wednesday, which is the 9th, you've got earlier in the day, you've got a board meeting, and then there is a networking event that night for everybody.
Yes, actually, both of you, thank you so much for coming. And I do want to highlight, please, guys are welcomed, and you all will see some more on social media, how other guys are attending as well. So we are starting with on Wednesday with advisory board meeting, and then afterwards there will be a networking reception. And we have been very fortunate to get a lot of responses from women DJs from our industry. So maybe I'm giving some of the fun away, but we'll have some of our women DJ on those reception events, and they're from our industry. So it's going to be very exciting. And Thursday is all about there are different women leaders. We are talking about a little bit more about why we are doing what we are doing, and welcoming everyone attending. And a lot of our it is going to be a little bit workshops related to networking, and a little bit workshop about how to connect with people better. And our keynote speaker, we are about to finalize by mid next week, so we will release that. It's going to be I have a couple of favorite authors, so we are planning to bring one of them as our keynote speaker. And Smile Direct Club is a great sponsor, so we have their spokesperson, their doctor. I am not at liberty to share her name, but will be one of those speakers. And we are highlighting some women's stories, the people who, because seeing is believing. And if we have seen how there are women we have seen in COO positions and now leading global companies, and how they have managed that balance, how they have managed those transitions. So we have some really powerful stories. And as I was listening to them, they were giving me goosebumps. I want to kind of leave those stories out there so people can see that and they can start seeing themselves there. And that's our Thursday is going to be primarily made up of. And we have a good entertainment planned. We'll have an entertainer and a comedian for Thursday night, because everyone likes some good laughs at the end of the day. We are giving out our leadership award, our first 2 leadership awards. It's $10,000 each leadership award. So, and we have unbelievable amount of nominees. And we have a selection committee we have put in place, and we are working through this vigorously to identify our top 5 people. So that's going to be highlight. We all the attendees are going to get a fresh lifestyle headshots. That's something we want to give all the women who are attending. So we'll have a kind of like a stylist and a booth set up for that. I'm excited about that because, you know, if I'm going to a conference and I'm coming back with a fresh headshot, why not? And our Friday is actually going to be even more exciting. We are starting with all women CEO panels, then all women COOs and CFOs, because a lot of times second day it dwindles down. I wanted to punch it with a lot of meat so we could, you know, end the conference with a high note. And we see all these women lifting and elevating our industry. And in the end, we have a real plan to talk with everyone to see what are we going to do different to once we leave this conference, what are we going to do to keep this momentum going? So that's pretty much what all the conference is going to be about.
You know, Bill, from a high level, I mean, just why should you come to this? I mean, a couple things. One, there's going to be tremendously inspirational stories. You know, we've had some on the Dykema stage. You know, Win DSO was a partner of ours. We have a Win DSO panel plus a launch event at Dykema. We're going to do that again this year. But, you know, they're really inspirational stories that not only uplift the many, many talented women that'll be there, but men too. I've gotten great inspiration from some of the stories that I've heard. But the second thing is, you just, like I said, you're going to get really unique perspectives. You're going to have women CEOs, women CFOs, women chief operating officers, women chief marketing officers, and you're going to get really unique perspectives. And just anecdotally, I mean, you know, I'm not conducting, you know, a double-blind peer-reviewed study, but, you know, I've got 50 people on my team, and I cannot tell you the times where, you know, we'd have 3, you know, let's say we have a meeting and we'll have, you know, we have a lot of women on our team, but it's still not as big as I'd like, but we might have 3 guys and 2 women. I'd love to have 3 women and 2 guys. We're doing, Dr. Aman, we're doing the best we can. We're trying hard here, but we'll have a meeting with like 5 people and 2 of them will be women. And the 3 guys will decisively say, we're going to do A, B, and C. And they are just like completely positive in what they're going to do. And then the two women will wait and listen to them, and then they'll say, they'll speak up and say, you know, we shouldn't do that because of A, B, C, D, and E, and I get to make the final call. And I'm sitting there listening to this more often than not, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, thank God we have these women team members to kind of explain this other perspective, because what these three guys were about to do was going to cause all these problems. And now, because we have the benefit of this other perspective, we can really make a smart decision here and really, you know, make a more informed decision. And I just feel like anybody in the audience, you really need that perspective. I mean, one, I hope it encourages you to support women in your organization and make sure you always have as many women as possible in the room. But second, just listening to these things. I mean, every time I sit and listen, I'm not going to ruin, you know, we're going to publish the agenda here in the next week or two. I'm not going to ruin it and spoil it on this show, but the talented folks that are going to be speaking, there is so much insight you can get. And just as a guy, I'm speaking to the guys out there. I know it goes without saying the women in the audience are going to learn, but the guys, I can't emphasize enough, this is a unique perspective and stuff that you're just not going to hear unless you make a point of making sure you have women on your team, which we do, of course, at Dykema. But if you don't make a point of it, you're not going to hear these perspectives, and you really need to come and you need to hear this stuff. It's just going to be terrific.
This is exciting. So we're getting close to it. I mean, by the time this podcast drops, we'll probably be about a month out.
Yeah.
So March 9th through the 11th at the Aria in Las Vegas. There are still hotel rooms available, but not many, and the rate is good. It's a very good rate for Vegas. And the Aria, which is a great hotel. I love what I hear about DJs, so that is awesome, especially when they're DSO DJs, women DSO DJs. Talked about a comedian, so I hear DJ, I hear comedian. That's Vegas for sure. So that's really cool. I love the leadership award idea. So that's going to be really exciting to see, you know, who wins. $10,000. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's two awards. So
Okay.
we are hoping we could bring we have a lot of dental hygienist nominations, and that's kind of one of the area I have always felt underrepresented, and especially when group practices become DSOs, sometimes dental hygienists end up falling into that no man's land. So I want to kind of find a way to uplift and make sure because I feel like they're providers and they're somehow don't get the similar recognition once DSOs come into place. I'm really looking forward to getting ADHA and dental hygienists more involved. And, you know, I know we are planning to talk about the mission of the organization but we were doing some facts yesterday, and 85% of financial spending decisions are made by women in any household. So if we have more women in leadership roles, and then we are actually getting closer to our consumers, right? Because we know most of those spending decisions are going to be made by women. So I think those are kind of like small things in the background, almost at subconscious level, that help organizations be better. And there are some market researches that have shown when women are in leadership roles, companies have better profits and their shares perform better. And I think a lot of those things play a role. And with having our dental hygienists involved, it's kind of going to help our industry. It just, we forget about them sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point about hygienists. You look, and what's really interesting, we've done articles on several that were founders of DSOs, you know, so a lot of times you typically think it's going to be a dentist, or it's going to be, even sometimes it's a non-clinician, right, that actually, you know, is founding the DSO, the support side of it. But there are plenty out there that are on the hygiene side, and you know, hygienists spend a lot of time with the patients, right? In fact, typically more time than the dentist do. So they have the relationship, and in a lot of cases they know the ins and outs of the business more so, or as much as a dentist as a clinician does. Because
they can know a little bit on the business side too, because they are trying to keep patients engaged. I think patient retention is a huge outcome of a good hygiene program. So, and everyone wants to retain patients. So we just got to focus on our hygienists.
Yeah, a lot easier to retain patients than it is to find new ones.
Yeah. Yes.
So as we try to wrap this up here, we talked about the dates, March 9th through the 11th. Let's talk a little bit about, so if I'm a DSO, if I work for a DSO, I can sign up for this as an individual. Can I also sign up as or register as a company? Like, what are the differences? I know there are some like company memberships. There are individuals, like I could just register. And then, so talk about it from the DSO perspective. And then also from the vendor perspective, what does registration look like there?
Absolutely. So first, we have 3 different memberships: industry level, which is for our vendor partners, private equity firms, financial organizations, consulting companies. Those are all fall into that industry partners. And then we have DSO memberships. That's for DSOs, and it's no size specific. It's really about mission. We have DSOs starting with 15 practices, going up to 1,000 and plus, like heartlands of the world. So there is no size specific, but what we have done is once organizations join us, there is up to 20 members that they can use internally and externally. So we award those memberships. And those are the members that have access to those networking opportunities, our members exclusive content that we are going to have available for them. And they will be able to participate in that mentorship and our internship programs. That's what those memberships come from. And once these organizations become members with us, especially the industry partners, they can use those 20 memberships, not just internally, but externally also. For example, if they're working with a DSO, it's a smaller, maybe 3 to 5 practices run DSO by a woman. Maybe they don't have that bandwidth to join us as an organization, but they know they will benefit from networking with other women CEOs. So they can give that membership to them, because we want a lot of members working together. If I were to say at the end of 2022, we could have this close network of 50 women from all around the industry in different disciplines, learning from each other, grab their phone, call each other for, hey, I'm stuck with this. What is the right answer? That would be a huge win, because that's what I think women need to get to that next level in our industry right now. So talking about membership, so those are the membership in industry partners, DSOs, and individual members. Anyone can join us. Just as individual member, they will be able to be an individual member and have access to all those programs. And once you are registered with us as a member, I think there is around 30% some discount for companies for sponsorship opportunities. And we have some unique specials for companies to register their internal members for the event. And there are some free tickets. I just don't remember all those details. I think we have changed them because, as you know, time's coming close and we have more and more registrants, but there are a lot of discounts and a lot of those things available. If someone wants to come to event, please reach out, send us an email, even if we'll find a way to get you all in.
So it's womenindso.org. Just remember, it's .org, not .com, womenindso.org. And we'll drop the URL in our show notes so everybody has access to that. And on the Group Dentistry Now website, on our events tab, we have your event listed there. So if you can't remember the URL, just go to our website and you'll see it listed 9th through 11th. So I'd love to get final thoughts on this. Dr. Kaur, I'll let you end the show. So I'm going to ask Brian first for his final thoughts, anything that we might have missed. And then Dr. Aman, please, feel free afterwards to close things
Yeah,
down.
my final thoughts on this is a great organization. If it matters, it's a not-for-profit organization. It shouldn't. This is a great event. You should come no matter what. But if it matters, it's a not-for-profit organization. We're not making a profit on this. It's a really, really, really good cause, first of all. Second of all, again, I cannot emphasize enough just how unique and incredible this event is. Look, come the first time, and if I'm wrong, you don't got to come again. But this is going to be absolutely incredible, unique. I would really can't emphasize enough. People need to come and they need to join, because one other thing I'll say before I guess we wrap it up is it's not just about this event, although this event's going to be wonderful and I want everybody to come and register. This is ongoing support. The neat thing about this organization, again, being the only guy on the board that I love, is it's non-judgmental. It is a verified provable fact that the industry has not done well in giving the same opportunities to women as they have to men historically. But we're not here to judge anybody. We're not here to criticize. We're just saying, look, it's a verifiable fact that we've not done as well as we could. We are here to help you. If you join this organization, we are going to help you get access to talented women, or help you, basically train and mentor the women within your organization, and or do both. Help you train the women within your organization and also give you access to talented women on the outside. And we're better. We are better as an organization. I don't got to tell you, Bill, you're in a tremendous partnership with your incredibly talented wife. So I don't have to tell you about the importance of having, women in ownership. But for the rest of us that have much larger organizations, we're better with women. And even if you haven't, nobody's going to judge you here or give you a hard time about it. We're going to help you. We're going to help you get more women and mentor more women and give more access and more opportunities. So I guess the final thing I'll say is it really has been the highlight of my career being a part of this organization. I want everybody to register to the event, and I want everybody to let us, participate with us, collaborate with us, and let us make your organizations better.
That's great. Dr. Aman, final words.
First, Bill, thank you for doing this. It's actually even good to hear Brian, because even though we hear talk about this stuff, and Bill, how you shared up, all those interjected small things that just validated why we exist. Final words. Yes, this is an event, and we are excited about it. It's going to feel different, and you all will leave with something that is going to warm your heart, and it's going to feel like we are doing something better as an industry. And we keep talking about women, we are better with having women in leadership, but reality is this diversity in thought is so important. And we have that diversity in thought at our fingertips with women all around us. So if we just just lift them, work together, it can be great. And my request to everyone is, it's for me, it's my life's work, and it's everything we are trying to do. We feel the need for it. There is a purpose behind it, but are we expert at it? No. So if you all see us missing a point on something, please let us know. We are happy to learn and improve, because that's what we want to do. And there has been tremendous feedback and support, and I can't afford to not do well with this organization. So we really need everyone's support, starting with this event, but on an ongoing basis. And that support can be a thought, a comment, a suggestion. And of course, we want you all, more and more members, so we could further our mission, and we can learn, all of our members can learn from each other. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what I would like to share. Please reach out, even if it's just a gift of your thought and advice. We need that, and we really, really want it.
It's a great way to finish things, and I'll try and finish it off with something that Dr. Kaur, you mentioned when we started, which was you talked about being involved in the DSO industry, and DSOs really providing more access to care for patients. And I think what Women in DSO is doing is providing more access for women to leadership roles in the DSO industry. So I see that parallel. It's really, it's interesting, and it's wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Las Vegas March 9th through the 11th at the Aria. Again, it's womenindso.org, right? .org. And again, if you can't remember that, you can go to our website and go to the events tab and make sure you sign up for the event. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate you being here. Yeah. Dr. Kaur, thank you. First time, not going to be the last time that you'll be on the podcast. And again, I always say this, thank you everybody for listening, being part of the Group Dentistry Now show. Again, without the audience, we wouldn't have a show. I'm Bill Newman, and until next time, that's it.
The Group Dentistry Now show has listeners across North and South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. If you like our show, subscribe today, and please tell your colleagues about us.